The topic is getting started in cybersecurity. And for me, I feel like cybersecurity is just more than what you know. It's actually what you can do with what you know. A lot of people get it confused, and which I'm going to talk about during the course of this session. So for the discussion track, we'll be starting with cybersecurity beginner track, then certifications and careers. So on the cybersecurity beginner track, I would assume we all know the definition of cybersecurity, but for those of us who don't, the definition is on the screen. It's basically trying to defend against all internet aware or digital devices that ranges from organizational, business organizations, and also personal devices against malicious threat actors. Threat actors are just carriers of attacks. They can just be any entity, individual, group, anybody that are just the initiators of malicious attacks. So before we continue, on this beginner track, we are going to discuss three things: the domains of cybersecurity, the skill sets required, or some skill sets that you're supposed to have, then learning platforms or knowledge boosters or validators. So coming to the domain of cybersecurity, there are some people get it wrong, because when you mention cybersecurity to a first timer or for some people, you just feel like cybersecurity is actually all technical based, like it's technical wise, but it's not actually true, because there are so many domains and aspects of cybersecurity, including compliance, where you don't have to have practical skills that much. You just have to understand the security concept of cybersecurity, and therefore you can use it to actually help organization to operate in compliance with security standards. We have ISO security standards. So among those, I have two listed here. There are many, but the common ones actually is GRC, that's governance, risk, and compliance. Also, our documentation and policy. When getting started with cybersecurity, you need to, not just cybersecurity, getting started into anything, you have to do some research. And there's so much resources out there, so much information out there that can actually cause an overload. So we don't actually know where exactly to start from. It would be wise if, for instance, you already have an idea of what it is you actually want to do. Research around cybersecurity so you can have a focus instead of just learning almost everything. At the end of the day, you become jack of all trade and master of none. So if you know you don't have affinity for practical or technical aspects of cybersecurity, you can decide to go into the compliance. Then for some people, I know there are some people that are actually good at software development right from the onset before they had the chance or start trying to think of considering cybersecurity. There is also a place for you in cybersecurity. Under the software development security, you can join the DevOps team, which is actually the combination of the developers and the operations team, the information operations team. Please, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear.
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay, sorry, I might be too fast because there is a lot to cover and there is limited time. So, as you all can see the screen, the DevOps is a combination, like I said, combination of the developers and the operations team to develop the security softwares at a high velocity and deliver them to the end users. So you can also go under just secure software development when you incorporate, maybe you decide to develop security tools while incorporating best security practices. Some developers, most issues in cybersecurity has to do with bugs, which are actually an error or lapse in the side of developers because they just code, they don't take security into consideration. So if you want to be a developer, you have a space in cybersecurity. So we have other technical domains. That's the incident response and forensic analysis. Also have the security operations. The incident response and forensic analysis is traditionally known as the computer emergency response team. That's the SAT. You can also call it the DFIR. That's the digital forensic and incident response. So basically, this team detects and analyzes security events, with appropriate action, and with the incorporation of forensic analysis, you are able to perform are able to like analyze the data gotten from an incident in order to find out the cause, how to remediate, and how to stop it from reoccurring in the future. So when you come under security operation domains, the security operation domain is a very wide domain. A lot of things are in here. When you talk of monitoring of security monitoring, um, you can also have incident response here depending on the kind of monitoring that is being done. And also you can have your pen testing here. Basically, companies contract people to external sources to actually pen test their system. So that falls under the security operations domain. So you can decide what you want to do. I know a lot of people, when the first thing that comes to mind when they think of cybersecurity is ethical hacking, but that's as we are, as I hope as we are all learning now, we know that that's not just what cybersecurity is all about, but it's actually a fun and good part of cybersecurity. Then we also have other domains that are worth mentioning, though we can actually talk about them in details. We can decide to pick cryptography, data loss prevention, business continuity and disaster recovery. Just decide on what you want to do. You don't have to follow your colleagues. The good thing about cybersecurity is there is room for everyone. It's basically based on teamwork. That's what cybersecurity is actually about. Pick whichever domain you decide to work on and try to master that domain instead of becoming a jack of all trade and a master of none. So while trying to get started into cybersecurity, there are some, I feel these are some of the skills that we need, some of the top skills. They are not limited to this. There are so many resources out there that will give you something different too, but we just need to have, I feel this is okay with getting started. So the first one is system internals and administration, computer networking, virtualization, building VMs and using VMs. We have Google search and OSINT, personal digital security. I'm going to talk on them by starting with system internals and administration. When we talk of system internals in this sense, what I mean here is you need to have basic understanding of the operating systems that are out there. You need to be able to use the operating system. Some people always say ethical hackers don't need Windows. There are rumors around. Some people just don't even like Windows, but that's not it. That's not supposed to be it. You might not really like to use Windows, but you should have basic fundamental knowledge of what Windows system is about, because you need all the knowledge you can get when you're trying to secure and defend the cyberspace. Don't limit yourself to just a single OS. Try and maximize the scope of your skills. Then the slide basically speaks for itself. Utilize guidelines and manuals. Try to go under the administrative side. Know how to configure a system. You can test things on your system. You can use virtual machines, which we'll get on to very soon. Just try and, there while trying to focus on a particular aspect of cybersecurity, research on them, what are required. Then you can now try out all the stuffs that you actually need. But basically, you need the general understanding of computer systems. If you don't understand computer systems, you can't even get started with cybersecurity. That's why I feel like this one is number one before going to number two, which is actually very important, which I feel is the heart of cybersecurity. But first, you need to understand basic computing, IT essentials. In number two, or the second one, I feel like the second skill is computer networking. This is actually the heart of it all. You need to have a strong foundation on networking because everything is all interconnected. You need to know how communication happens between devices from one point to another. That's how we basically respond to incidents when they happen. They tell us everything we need to know, especially the conceptual models, that's the TCP and the OSI models. You need to understand these models in depth in such a way that you know what happened in each layer at what time. When you look at the logs, you can actually pinpoint what happened in each layer and can actually refer it to a particular time frame. This is important. I can't stress it enough. Networking is important. If you have no knowledge about networking, you should find a way. Start, give yourself time, and be patient with yourself. So long as you have the zeal and the passion, and you don't want to give up, and I just feel like you do better. Sorry. Then the third one is virtualization. Learning how to build and use virtual machine. This is actually good. Virtualization gives you so many opportunities or so many options. You need to learn how to use virtual machine. And virtual machines are just typically another OS that is running on top of your normal host system, which a guest, we can call it a guest OS running on top of your normal host system. And they are being managed by something called hypervisors. So it allows you to actually run this on top of your own OS without having to be bothered, or makes you become what we call platform agnostic. You're not limited to any operating system. If instead of you buying multiple systems and having multiple OS on them, having the knowledge of virtualization, you can basically have any platform of OS that you want at any time, run your test and do whatever you want to do. Set up your own personal lab, try out so many things. That's just going to be like, for now, for those of you who are undergraduates, it should actually be your foothold. Play around with virtualization. It's just like how the cloud is. Cloud is just basically virtual machines that are hosted in someone's data server and are being managed by high top hypervisors, which we can also use if you have AWS accounts. You can, if you don't want to use VMs, you can also use cloud. So the next one is, I feel you need the knowledge of Google search and OSINT. The reason why this is the internet is such a wide place, and if you want to be a cybersecurity expert, you need to be able to find like publicly accessible information. Not just that, but you can start from there. You need to be able to find something we call recognizance, and everything starts basically from there. You need to know how to gather information about certain things. We have the OSINT framework. The OSINT is open source intelligence. We all know how to use Google, but we can also incorporate something we call Google Docs that can actually enable us search better on the internet. I know some of the things I'm mentioning, some people who have actually decided to go deep are aware of some of them. But for those of us that are still new at this, I hope we are able to take a few things out of this by the time we'll be done. So then the final skill I feel we should know about is personal digital security. We talk about cybersecurity. Basically, people just feel like it's about protecting maybe your customer, business organization devices, but they say charity begins at home. You also have to incorporate this thing. You yourself should be able to protect, or to some extent, protect your own personal devices. Because most of the attacks that happen is actually negligence in employees, which always results in more security awareness for employees. So if you want to be a more baked cybersecurity professional, you yourself have to incorporate this security mechanism. We all have Netflix account. Let's say not all. Some of us do. So if you can subscribe for Netflix, we should also be able to subscribe for some of these antiviruses for our personal devices and our mobile phones. Some of them, especially for the mobile phones, which we overlook most of the time. We have to incorporate security practices in order to make sure we ourselves are safe before we can even decide to see how we can save the cyberspace as a whole. That brings me to the knowledge, the learning platforms, the knowledge base, or the booster validators. So I've been speaking or probably rambling a lot. All these skills we are talking about, we have platforms out there that you can actually learn from. You can actually learn these skills on your own. Find the time to actually sit down and study For those of us in school, I know the curriculum might be tough, but if you have passion for this, you will make time. Um, we have there are some that are online and free. They are cheap ones too. Those ones you actually have to pay for them, but though it's quite affordable. Then we have CTF platforms. They capture the flag cybersecurity platform. This platform can help you validate, if at all, you've actually gone through learning all these skills. Some of them, not even all, and you want to validate yourself. Like there's a point where you actually be trying to learn something and you don't even actually know if anything you've been learning is actually sinking in. Just like everything is just entering, but you don't even know if you're assimilating anything. You can use this platform to validate yourself. When you see a challenge and you're able to solve it from previous knowledge that you've learned, it gives you this sense of validation, and it boosts your confidence and it will make you want to learn more. So other virtualization platforms, I'll give you some example of platforms to use and give you links to Google Doc cheat sheet and the OSINT intelligence framework. So for the online or free cheap courses platform, we have Udemy. There are so many cybersecurity courses on Udemy, or not all of them. They are not actually free. You get to pay some token. Currently, they are running some discounts. You see some course going for $12, and I know dollar is expensive, but it's all in the passion. What you are willing to sacrifice. Knowledge isn't free, actually. It's either you put in your time, your sweat, or your money. But at the end of the day, we might actually need to put in all of this in order to become the best version of what we decide to be. We have INE. INE have free courses. You actually have the opportunity to learn these courses, but you won't be able to write the exam. You can learn the courses there for free. Just that once you're done with the courses, that's just it, which is actually good. It's not just all about getting the certificate. If you can actually learn this, gather as much knowledge as you can. When the time for certification comes, if you have the money, you should be trying to pursue knowledge in such a way that you're not actually reading or studying for certifications, because it's no different from you studying for a particular exam in school. At the end of the day, maybe a few months, you forget what you've read, you finish reading dumps and everything. But if you are making this a habit, learning these things on a daily basis, like it becomes a part of you, and once that is, you might be able to get like free vouchers or get a job that will be able to pay for this certification, and you can just walk into any center with confidence and write this exam. Certificates are good, but in this course, it's all about what you can do with the knowledge you have, not what you know. It's not just about what you know. Maybe the certificate will get you to the door of an interview or job, of job interview, or the door to the interviewer. But that's not what's going to help you get the job. You have to prove that you have what it takes, except you're trying to go through the compliance area of cybersecurity. If you're thinking of diving towards the technical aspect, you need skills. There's no way around it. You need to know what you're doing. You can get TCM Security, that's the cyber mentor. A lot of people can follow him on YouTube and Discord. He's trying a lot out there for the cyber community. Actually, recently he has a free voucher for getting started with cybersecurity, ethical hacking. I shared the link with Gracious. I hope she has shared it to some of you, so you all can grab it while it still lasts. You can get cybersecurity courses on Cybrary to Monster Cybersecurity, Udacity, and Pluralsight. Then when we talk about cybersecurity capture the flag platforms, like I mentioned earlier, this can validate you, give you the confidence you need. It can help you try out the skills that you think you've learned so far. If you're feeling at some point, feeling like you're just learning things, you don't know if you're assimilating anything, try one of these. When you solve one or two challenges, I bet you're going to be happy and it will be a good boost for you to continue. So you can use Try Hack Me. Try Hack Me actually give you the opportunity to learn things from scratch, but at a cost of $10 per month. When you actually start, they let you do some free courses, free topics till when you get to some certain extent, then they will request you pay or you subscribe for the month. And it's actually $10 per month. So you just have to figure out a time when you'll be free if you decide to pay for this stuff. If you go out in months where you're actually going to have time so you can utilize the service that you pay for. Then you can check Cyber Talent. Cyber Talent has so many challenges there that you can actually help yourself with. They also do courses too. Then we have, for those people trying to look into the operations the domain, we have the Blue Team Labs for the blue teams. There are free challenges actually right now, and there are also some challenges that are not actually free. So you can also go through Hacktail. Hacktail just has one particular scenario base, which is actually interesting. It's in a game form. It's actually gamified. It's not like the typical CTF platform. You actually have to walk through an incident that happened and actually follow through deciphering how it happened when it happened. But the downside is after you finish that first challenge and you're getting all hyped up, there is no next challenge, at least for as far as I know for now. Then you have the DevCon archive challenges. If you go to archive.oo, you see some challenges archived from past and previous DevCon CTFs. Then if you are looking to go into an investigator base, you are trying to test your knowledge of how investigative are you. You can actually go to the Cyber Investigator CTF. I trust me, it's going to be really eye opening if you check the Cyber Investigator CTF out. There are so many more. These are just a few. And if you're trying to get started, I feel this can actually help you a long way. Then examples of the virtualization platforms you can actually use. You can use VMware. You can use VirtualBox Oracle. We also have Microsoft Hypervisors, which people don't actually use much. Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
All right. You
Yes,
can
ma'am, we
also
can hear
use,
you.
we have Citrix. All right, thank you. And you have Amazon. You can use their Elastic Compute platform. That's the EC2 platform. Just like I said, cloud is just like, it's just virtualization. It's just a virtual machine running on someone's server somewhere. So Amazon gives you the opportunity. There are free tiers. Just sign up for the first time and you get some I think it's I can't, it's been long I use it. Is it $100? Does anyone know how much Amazon gives you if you sign up for the first time? Okay, let's move on. So for the Google Docs cheat sheet and the OSIT framework, I have some links here. That there are a lot of cheats that are in Google Docs cheats on this link. I think there are over 1,000 or so. So you can try your hands on with them. Try and cite for so many things. And we have the OSINT framework. This framework is actually so good. It actually shows you it's let's see if I can show you what it looks like. Can we all see this?
Yes, it's
Can we all see my
visible.
screen? It's visible now, right?
Yes, it is.
So this is the OSINT framework. If you're trying to search for users, you just need to click and to give you some options of where to look. Are you trying to look for the reputation of IP addresses? It gives you different options on what to look for. It's just like basic, it encompasses like a lot on it. Instead of you going to search separately for what to use, on this platform you can get a lot of things. If you want threat intelligence information, you have them. For those of us that want to do more on OSINT, this will really be good for you. So try and get yourself acquainted with them. So let's go back. We are almost at the end of the presentation of this session. So let's talk about certifications for entry level. Once you're done with school, or if you're not even studying cybersecurity at all, you can have some entry level jobs in cybersecurity if you have the CompSHA Security Plus certification. We also have SSCP. SSCP is almost the same as CompSHA, but people don't actually, like say, it's not well known. And I think this one is less expensive than this, but it's actually recognized as well. Then we have the CISA. If you're trying to become an analyst, then CISA is actually good for your entry level position as an analyst. Once you have CISA certification, you can actually get an entry level position if you apply and you pass through the interview process and the vetting process. You can actually get your job. If you actually got the certificate by actually studying hard and not just reading dumps, I think you're going to be fine. You have the GIAC Security Essentials too. This gives you basic understanding of information security too, and networking and the rest. Then for we have the EC Council CEH. Actually, this certification is still here, but it's still some employees still request for it during the process of job posting, but it's actually not really recognized among the cybersecurity professionals because it's actually, like call it, underrated at the moment. You can try CompSHA penetration testing plus if you're looking to get your hands on to have a certificate that actually proves you're good with penetration testing. Or you can do the EJPT, Junior Penetration Tester. And if you think you have the strength and the skill, try your hands out with studying for OSCP. So careers. Some of the entry level, we have some general careers and some entry level careers. The entry level careers includes the cybersecurity analyst. Those ones like you are looking for entry level position, you want to go into cybersecurity field. You can go in as a cybersecurity analyst. You can go in as a cyber intelligence analyst, and a computer forensic analyst. But before you can get to intelligence and computer forensic, you still need to go through, like I said, the basic is like your cybersecurity analyst role. You need to have basic understanding of how security operation goes, how to look for things that you need through from monitoring the logs. At least that is what is expected of you. But with luck, you can get this cyber intelligence analyst role if you do pass the interview. Like, it's not just about, it's basically more about what you can do. Even if you don't have this certification and all that, if you can pass through the vetting process for the job, you will get it. We have the security consultant. For those of us that might not even actually want to go all technical, you can actually consult, be a security consultant. There is room for everybody. We don't all have to be technical and practical. Cybersecurity is diverse. We have for the security software developers, we have roles for you too in the career space. I think that will be all. So thank you all for joining this session, and remember that cybersecurity is much more than what you know, but actually what you can do with what you know. You might actually know things and not even show what you know. And nothing can actually happen for you if you're just in, like, call it ghost mode behind the scenes. If you want your skills to be acknowledged, you want to do something better, or you feel like you can provide something better, you need to actually show the world what you can do with what you know. Thank you. So I'll take any questions before the allotted time for the session ends. Hello, can everyone hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you very much, Ma, for the amazing session. Personally, I did learn a lot, and if there are key takeaways what I would say is there are different opportunities that are available in cybersecurity, but then it all boils down to what you can do with your hand. That's
What you can
basically your
do.
skills. That's basically your skills, and people like employers would actually look out for that compared to your certifications at the long run.
Certifications.
And yeah, and also there are free resources available everywhere. It just depends on how we make good use of them. So thank you very much, ma. So
Exactly.
before any question, I think I actually have one question. I saw someone raising up there, and that's Paul. But before I allow Paul to speak, um, this call is actually made up of most persons. They are still undergraduates, and at some
Okay.
point, I believe you two you were once an undergraduate, like us too. And
Definitely.
if there's anything that can be really tiring is how to combine school activities with
It
having
is.
to brush up on your own skills. So I would just maybe in a minute or two, can you, from your own personal experience, how was it like for you having to at one point um cater for academics, and then at the other point having to build up your skills? So how was it like for you while you were still in school, ma? So maybe a minute or two.
So yes, for this actual question, like you need to understand yourself. How well is your simulation process? Everyone is not the same. There are people who are quick at learning things, and there are people who actually take time to learn things. So now trying to balance your academies or your academics with something extracurricular. For me, mine in my own aspect, like while trying to learn these practicals, it was actually also boosting my academic knowledge in the sense that before some courses actually get to be taught in school, I already had the idea from some of um, the classes or the practicals that I've been doing. So when it gets to the time when your lecturers decide to actually teach this course, you already have a preamble of what it's talking about. That way, since you have and you also need to understand your lecturers. In my school, they didn't expect verbatim. Like when they asked you some question, they didn't actually require you to give it word for word. You have to show that you understand what you're saying, like you understand what the question is about. So for that, that was a plus for me because once I knew what a particular aspect was about and I knew how to express myself, that was all I needed for my coursework. So you need to understand yourself, understand your lecturers. Then if you know you're someone who takes time to assimilate, find a way to make plans. You might not actually, if you feel like the schoolwork is actually too much for you during the school session for you to think of other extracurriculars, you can try during the holidays. Try doing something at least once a day. Before the end of each day, try and make sure that you learn something new related to your field, related to the part of the field that you actually want to work on. Because the field is so wide. If you want to go through everything, it's going to overwhelm you. That's why I say pick a part that you feel, do your research. Which part do you think actually sync with you? Which part resonates with you that you feel like, okay, I like this part and I want to go for it. That way you cannot find a way to manage your time towards that aspect instead of just throwing away the free times that you have trying to learn everything. Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay. Thank you very much, ma. So I don't know, is there any question from the participants? I saw Paul actually dropped a message. He said
Okay.
certifications like CISSP, CCSP, CSIM, and Computer Network Plus, are they still relevant? Like I'm guessing is a question. Like is he asking if these certifications are still relevant? I don't know what Paul means by that though.
That's what I keep saying. Certification is not like they aren't relevant, or I won't say they are not necessary. But the thing is, at the end of the day, the certification can only do so much for you. You can do them to actually boost your CV because when you're looking for jobs, it's actually quite competitive. The cyber market too is actually growing. So a lot of people are out there also applying for the job. There are so many internships that doesn't even really require people to know much about cybersecurity so long as you have the zeal and the enthusiasm. So if you feel like having certification is like a bonus and a plus for you. So it can actually help you scale through so many processes. But at the end of it, you still have to let them know that, okay, since you are coming with a certification, you have to actually prove that you're worth what your certification is bringing. So, and for someone with, if you already have cybersecurity background, which actually shows that you understand security plus is just a certification to prove that you have idea of information security, but also your cyber. I feel your cybersecurity degree is proof enough that you have a cybersecurity background.
All
Then
right, ma.
maybe
Thank you. Okay, finishing thoughts.
like no, the addition is just like maybe if you're trying to go in as an entry level, you can try CISA, which is like for security analyst. But with your cybersecurity certificate, and if you utilized it well, you did a lot of, let's say, technical practicals, or like you are very active during your school time and you know what you're doing, you can actually talk your way through your interview and come out with flying colors without all these necessary certifications. But I won't
All right.
say you should totally desist from certification. If you want to take them, you can take them.
All right, ma. Most times these certifications are not even when it gets to the costs, they are not usually
Exactly.
friendly
So my
to
advice would
newbies.
be, before you try to pay for a certification, try and find a free course on that certification to learn it first. When you learn it, you can actually have the knowledge. The only thing you don't have is the certification. And when a challenge is presented to you regarding that certification, you have the knowledge to tackle the challenge. That's all that matters. The certification just validates you, but you can also validate yourself by actually showing that you know what you are doing.
All right, ma. All right, ma. Thank you very much. There's a question here also from Dan Lowo. I hope I got the name right though. He is asking that you made mention of cybersecurity for developers. That's DevSecOps.
Yes.
So he's asking, does it mainly means implementing security measures when developing a software and having a good understanding of ways in which software can be vulnerable? Like maybe he just wants you to maybe shed more light
Yes.
on
So
Yeah.
if you are going towards the security software development, you, the developer, will actually really have to have understanding of coding practices, secure coding practices. Or being a part of the DevOps team, like I said, it's a combination of the security operations and the developers. So you can be building while the security operation teams are making sure that what you are building is in compliance with what you need. Might not actually even have the full security knowledge of what you are doing, but the operations team are there to put you in check. That's what DevOps is about. It's the merging of two teams.
All right, ma. I hope that answers his question. Please, is there any other? We want to round up by 8 exactly. So, is there any other question? You could just raise up your hand so we'll give you the opportunity to speak. Any question?
Yeah. So
Okay,
thank
so
you very much,
yeah,
Miss Kaka.
yeah.
This was a very wonderful talk. I really took a lot, like what I could take due to this network stuff. And Mr. Joshua, thank you for that question. That has been a very battling question in the minds of many students. How balancing school life and then our self-study is really very tough. But we are still trying to do it though. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Are you still here?
Yes. So I think we've come to the end, right? It's your event, please.
Yes.
All right, all right.
Yes. Please, you guys should please join our social media platforms. We are on LinkedIn, Twitter. We are also on Telegram. You can hit us up there. Please avail yourselves. Please just check us up. We are always there. Thank you.